Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I've got mostly positive vibes and outlooks to share with you in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. Don't know for sure at this point if the bottom's in for the most recent pullback. It's practically from what I've seen from many analysts, it's like, 50-50, flip of a coin. Let's do a little coin toss here to determine. But that's okay. Either way, the macro trend of us, in terms of where we are in this market cycle, yes, we're ultimately still going to have that blow off top, and probably the face melting will commence in the fourth quarter of this year. We'll see, but that seems somewhat probable. And so I want to share with you opinions and outlooks in general from some of the chart analysts that I follow. But I tell you, XRP, it is so primed for the greatest pump in the history of its existence. That's likely what we're on the cusp of. So I want to go through that. Also, some on-chain analytics update for you from Glassnode, and to me that's important. I appreciate the people that spend time putting together on-chain metrics, which is why I highlight them somewhat frequently. I firmly believe that they actually do matter, because what you're doing is the people that put the information together, they're looking at the actual data and of how humans are actually behaving in the market. And so if you see all sorts of Bitcoin going off exchanges, that matters because there's less available to purchase. So that, in conjunction with more people coming into crypto, and then how are people behaving in tumultuous times like we've seen? What about, because you can differentiate between seasoned holders and new money. Because the Bitcoin blockchain specifically, it's a public blockchain. You can mine all of this data and come to all sorts of interesting conclusions as a result. So I want to share some of that. And then I'll wrap the video up with this. This is really fascinating. I think you'll enjoy this as well. It's from the Daily Huddle. Gold investors are moving to Bitcoin and Ethereum, according to Bloomberg commodity strategist Mike McLone. And so look, as far as I'm concerned, everything having to do with on-chain metrics, everything having to do with money flowing into the crypto asset class, even if it's not specifically XRP that they're talking about in this article, this all absolutely benefits XRP as well, which happens to be my favorite cryptocurrency and my largest crypto holding. But as far as the on-chain metric stuff, to be honest with you, most of the time I'm more interested in seeing what's happening on-chain with Bitcoin, as far as market activity. The reason being, even though I'm more interested in XRP overall, I'm more interested in Bitcoin on-chain metrics because Bitcoin leads the market. So if there are metrics that indicate that people are behaving in such a way that they're not stepping out of the market just yet, then I know that's going to mean, I firmly believe that's going to have very, very good things for XRP. And look, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice, and so you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos all up on the internet, but just as a hobby, just for fun. That's all that's going on here. Market not looking too bad. Today, all things considered, XRP is sitting at 99 cents. Bitcoin's at $44,433. The market cap for the asset class still a little over $2 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 41.17%. But how about those lemmings out there? How are their emotions doing? How are they holding up? Well, here is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Yesterday, the lemmings were experiencing fear at 27 out of 100, and today they're still in fear, but a little bit less fear, moved up to 33 out of 100. It's so interesting highlighting this regularly. Can you just imagine, living your life like this, by the seat of your pants every day, whatever's happening in the market? Oh my gosh, I'm feeling those emotions. That's just no way to live, folks. But that's the reason I highlight this, to illustrate that it's stupid, STOOPID, stupid, to live your life feeling emotions on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't do anything. It's not the short-term price action is not an indication of the long-term viability of this asset class or any specific cryptocurrency. And the data shows that the market's been trending upwards for over 12 years despite tremendous pullbacks. So just take that for what it's worth, just saying. And so, by the way, the blockchain backer actually did watch his most recent video, and I'm not going to rehash his stuff. Plus, in terms of the technical analysis, I try to keep away from that. Even when I'm describing other people's opinions, I try to keep away from the technical jibber jabber as much as possible. If you want the thorough breakdown of why the blockchain backer believes what he believes, he does a great job explaining why he can really articulate that. He's a sharp guy, obviously. And so you can check out his recent video, but I will say a couple things, because he mentioned that there's an ABC correction. If you've been following him, I'm sure that there's a lot of people that follow my channel that follow him as well. He's been talking about this over the last few days. And so, you know, in all likelihood, the question is the bottom in? Did we see full capitulation? Well, we don't know for sure. You know, he mentioned that the B wave. You just have to look at his video if you want to see the full analysis. But basically, he was saying that that's the level to watch for, because the B wave in this most recent move showed that the altcoin market cap was at, I believe he said, like $1.3 trillion. And from his perspective, in order for this thing to be over, you want to see the altcoin market cap get back up to ideally at least 1.31 trillion. And it doesn't mean that it couldn't dip below that thereafter, but the point being, once you get that, it does mean that whatever the low point was after this most massive downward move, that means that probably was it if we see that point. And so as far as XRP is the bottom in for XRP, look, don't know for sure. He doesn't know. Nobody knows for sure. But he thinks we're probably going to know within the next few days, because the market hasn't looked bad over the last, somewhere between the last 24 to 48 hours in particular. And that's a good sign. So maybe the most recent bounce that we saw, that really could be it. But I say this also that I can make a broader point, which is that even if we do see that next leg down, fine, you'll see the crypto fear and greed index go even lower. Maybe people go from fear to extreme fear. But I just want to highlight that even if that happens, emotionally prepare yourself, because it doesn't matter. Like, that happening, and it's an if, but if it does happen, it doesn't mean that XRP will suddenly not hit its all-time high. That short-term price action means absolutely nothing. And I've been through 100% of the volatility since roughly mid-November of 2017, because that's how long I've been holding XRP, almost 4 years, and I've never sold a single XRP. And if you want to talk about one hell of a roller coaster ride, my friends, go ahead. Take a look at an XRP chart dating back to roughly mid-November 2017. It's crazy AF, my friends. It's been quite a ride, but I'm here to tell you, none of that actually matters. This asset class is growing. I am not fearful of this. Here is a tweet from chart analyst Ambessa, who wrote, "Since Bitcoin hit channel top again, good spot for more consolidation. Any other push higher would be another bullish impulse, but don't get too euphoric too soon. The market needs time." And so, look, he's one of the most popular chart analysts out there in crypto that I follow. And he's saying something that a lot of analysts are saying today, which is give it time. There's a fair bit of indecisiveness, which is fair enough. If there's not a clear reading within the charts, the data available, then fine. I like the honesty of, okay, let's give it time, let things consolidate. A lot of times that's all you need in markets. That's perfectly fine. Here's chart analyst Michael Vandepop, who wrote, "I'm still expecting a heavy run of Bitcoin towards 6 digits to be happening before the bubble bursts. Enjoy it, but take profits." Sage wisdom indeed. I like that, because it's acknowledgement that a bubble is forming. Of course there's a bubble forming. And so you're going to see a huge move up. And when you see a rapid move up, you're going to see at least an equally impressive move down. And that's fine, though. Like, I'm here for the bubble inflation. That is what I've been counting on ever since the last bubble popped. It's been several years in the making, and I'm waiting for it, and we are so close to it. We are just so close to this, and I can't wait to see it. And I absolutely intend to take profits, just as Michael Vandepop suggested may make sense. Here's another tweet from Michael Vandepop, and I like this one. You guys remember what was happening just a few days ago, right? It was the end of the world. Remember what the catalyst was for all this? Remember, because financial markets, the world over, not just crypto, all financial markets took a massive nosedive. And the purported perpetrator, Evergrande, remember that? Massive debt, this Chinese firm, massive debt. They might default. They're such a big company, it could just send us all into the entire global markets into a tailspin that could last for years and years and years, and major recession, great recession, this and that. Well, here's a tweet from Michael Vandepop and all that. "European stock markets are hitting new all-time highs, almost. Earlier this week, the big crisis has started with Evergrande. Now we're back on the road. Continue the party. Simple with Bitcoin too. how fast sentiment can flip-flop. Yes, indeed. That's why I wanted to highlight this. Because the biggest hurdle to making money in the crypto asset class is yourself, because you are an emotional individual. And I mean that for every human, not just you listening. Like, the emotions of this. This is why you've got to be aware that this is something that all humans must face. I've felt emotions in the market. Of course I have. But I don't anymore because I got to a point where it's stupid and I have enough experience. And I'm not kidding you. When things go down, I'm just like, whatever. It doesn't matter. The asset class isn't going to go away. Even after this bubble forms and then pops, it's not going to go away. I'm going to buy the bottom or as close to it as possible because you can't actually time the bottom. So as close as possible, dollar cost average in, and then it's going to rocket on out of there again within the next several years after that, roughly. Right? Rinse and repeat. This is not going away. And so the short-term stuff and seeing how quickly the sentiment here flip-flops, and he's absolutely hitting the nail on the head. Yes, be aware of this. Because if you are aware of this, you're not as likely to make emotional buying and selling decisions. And so I don't care if you buy or sell or hold anything. I'm not telling you to do anything specific. I don't know your situation. You do whatever you think is right for you, of course. I would never assume that I know best for you. Of course not. Of course I don't. But by just highlighting the fact that we're emotional creatures, I think that is a helpful message. And not enough people talk about that or recognize that. That is the biggest problem here, which is why I always hammer this point home when we're talking about price action. But take a look at this. This is just a simple tweet from Will Clemente, who has quickly become one of the most popular chart analysts in all of crypto, now up to 271,000 followers. And so he does analysis, but he highlights a lot of the on-chain stuff too, which I like. But here he simply wrote, "Bears are wrong. Good night. Wake me up in a month." So there you go. Straight to the point. Brevity is the soul of wit. You know who said that? Bill Shakespeare. That's right, Bill Shakespeare. Brevity is the soul of wit. Now take a look at this. Yan and Jan. This account, yeah, you can see here, co-founders of Glassnode. I like that. I'm a fan of Glassnode. We're talking about all sorts of on-chain analytics. Be aware of this. And I think it makes sense to look at on-chain analytics for Bitcoin before XRP because Bitcoin leads the market. That's a simple reason. I'm still more interested in XRP, yes, of course. But I want to know what's coming down the path. And so that means I need to be aware of what's happening with Bitcoin. So what's happening on-chain with Bitcoin? Well, here's what Yan and Jan wrote. Even though Bitcoin prices declined this week, older hands are still not spending their coins. The average age of spent outputs continues to decline, showing they still have conviction, even when markets look the most intimidating. Are you seeing this, folks? I'm showing you data. This is, here, I'll bring this up full screen if you want to take a look at the chart shared here. This is showing how the humans are behaving that are not the lesser seasoned retail speculators. The volatility that we've seen, which put the market overall in fear and ultimately extreme fear before moving back up, all of that happened, and this little subset of Bitcoin holders, they're like, now we're good. They are. This is what the data shows. Data's powerful. And so when I see this, I don't see a reason to be fearful. I really don't. Here's a tweet from DIY Investing. Understanding market cycles is the way to work minimally and make a maximum return. Most of you don't know how to trade, yet you'll overtrade your way to nothing. Focus on the big picture and hold. You'll do phenomenally without hardly any effort. Yes, ding, 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 hitting the nail on the head here, which is why I do precisely nothing. I buy and then I do nothing. When I'm enticed to sell, I'll sell, and that's it. I don't worry about getting in and out of positions. I don't worry if I'm buying the bottom. If I want to buy something, I assume that after I purchase it, it's going to be worth less than when I purchased it at some point in the future. Maybe it'll be for just a brief period of time. Maybe it'll be a very long period of time. I don't care. If I want it, I'm going to buy it. And maybe I'll continually buy and dollar cost average in and super duper. But I'm just saying, trying to time the market, oh my gosh. Think about this. You understand that a year ago, there were people, they wanted to get into XRP, and it was around 22, 23 cents. And then the people are sitting there like, oh man, should I buy now? I mean, gosh, it might go down to like 20 cents. Do you understand how absurd that says in the context of where XRP is today? Think about this. People were getting nitpicky over whether it was like 23, 25, 21 cents. That's crazy. That's crazy. Because now, you know what, it ran up to almost $2 in April. It's now sitting around $1 after a pullback. It recently was as high as $1.41. Like, it doesn't. You're splitting hairs, folks. You're freaking splitting hairs. Do you believe that there's going to be a parabolic move to the upside or not? That's kind of the question to ask. Because if yes, then don't worry about, like, you guys. You don't have to stress yourselves out about this. So, like, don't overthink it. Like that's why for me, if I want to buy something, I just buy it, and then it's probably going to be worth less, because you understand the odds of you buying the bottom of something, it's about 0%, right? It's almost exactly 0%. And so, knowing that, what the hell does it matter? What the hell does it functional? It doesn't matter. Of course, it doesn't matter. And so I think it's worth highlighting this too. That's why I mentioned it here. And the prices now for XRP too. I'll tell you what. Fast forward about 5 years, people will be like, "Oh my God, you were buying XRP back when it was only $1." So you just give it enough time. And so, like, now, even 22 cents, like, that sounds cheap. Well, okay, talk to the people from 5 years ago that were buying it for half a penny. See, it's all relative. So that's why I'm just like, if I want to get into something, I'll just do it, and I'll probably just dollar cost average and not worry about it. And then if it's worth more in the future, as I suspect will be the case, then that's great. Now into this from the Daily Huddle. Gold investors are moving to Bitcoin and Ethereum, according to Bloomberg commodity strategist Mike McGlone. Don't tell Goldbug Peter Schiff, though. Don't tell him. He might have a bad day and be a sad panda. We don't want that to happen. Gold is experiencing outflows as investors embrace cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, according to Bloomberg commodity strategist Mike McGlone. McGlone says in a new Stansberry research interview that investors are giving up on gold and instead taking positions in the two largest cryptocurrencies by market cap. And here's a quote. You gotta love this stuff too, right? Crypto clearly is not going away, which is, by the way, one of the reasons also I've said, and I haven't said this in a while, but I firmly mean it. One of the reasons, there are many reasons, but one of the reasons I sleep easy at night with my crypto investments is because I understand, like, even if I'm wrong about where we're at in the market cycle, and let's say we're actually in a bear market and Moon Lambo's just really stupid and wrong, let's say that happens. It's possible. I don't think it's probable, but let's say that I'm actually wrong and we're in a bear market. I just don't know it yet. Things are going to be really bad for the next few years. Do you know what I'd do right now? Nothing. I would wait for things to bottom out because they'd probably go quite a bit lower, and then at some point I'd just buy even more. Like, it doesn't, like, this crypto asset class isn't going away. And watch Mike McGlone articulate why. He has a brilliant point having to do with the quantity of United States dollars versus the quantity of Bitcoin. You might already know what he's going to get at here. And it's true of whatever your fiat currency is too, because I'm willing to bet that your fiat currency, whatever it may be, probably being abused at least to some degree. That would just be my guess, because governments are governments, right? But here's a quote from Mike McGlone. The thing that I have underestimated this year is how much there's been disdain and outflows from gold, and people giving up on gold and going to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Basically putting Bitcoin and Ethereum in the same bucket as gold. So as we speak, gold is down about 7% on the year, and Bitcoin's up almost 70%. Ethereum's up almost 400%. End quote. And so think about that. And this is good, so I know he's not talking about XRP. I don't care. It doesn't matter. First of all, I hold Bitcoin and Ethereum, so yay for me anyway. But even setting that aside, Bitcoin leads the market. And so what happens? More money's going. This is one of the reasons this isn't going away, by the way. And so more money is going to ultimately keep flowing in, especially in the decades to come. Where do you think this is all going? This is the most exciting place to be in the world of anything financially related, even remotely. This is the most exciting place to be. So kudos to you for being here. Mike McGlone says the growing popularity of Bitcoin is due to its deflationary characteristics at a time when fears of currency debasement are rife due to rising money supply. And here's another quote. We can fully expect debt to GDP, quantitative easing levels, fiscal/monetary stimulus to continue to keep an unlimited supply of fiat currencies. Meaning that the base of how you price Bitcoin should continue to have unlimited supply of fiat currencies versus limited supply of Bitcoin. It means that price must go up by rules of economics. And that's the quote. Brilliant way of articulating that, right? Fiat currencies, government-issued currencies, not backed by anything, they're completely out of control. And so they keep printing and printing and printing, which means more and more and more, whatever the percentage is, can flow into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And Bitcoin and XRP, for example, are deflationary. there's less and less of it. Now, Bitcoin, it's not coded into it, but it gets lost. So it has a deflationary effect. I understand it's not coded into it. Now, XRP, not only does it have that deflationary effect to that Bitcoin gets, because you can have lost XRP, deflation is actually coded into XRP because a small bit of XRP gets burnt, forever gone with every single transaction, which was designed to prevent DDoS attacks, spamming of the network. So think about, like, where does this go? If these cryptocurrencies are indeed going to be long-term viable, there's just more and more money being printed, and a certain amount of that's always going to go into crypto, and it is. This is the best, most exciting place to be in anything financially related, even loosely. This is it. Congratulations on being here, seriously. Like, golf clap. That's a golf clap just for you. So you just wait. The face melting, probably Q4. That would be a fun guess. Probably spilling into early next year, at least for some altcoins, even if Bitcoin tops off before that, and then bear market. And don't know for sure. I mean, maybe it does go a little bit past that, whatever. But the point is, whatever it looks like, structurally, we're at the really the tail end of this market cycle, and when it happens, it's going to happen really fast. Don't forget, XRP's big move, when it went from 20-something cents to almost $4, it happened over a time span of about 2.5 weeks. For Bitcoin, the biggest move, when it went from 10,000 to 20,000, took about 4 weeks. So that's what we're looking at. However big these moves are going to be remains to be seen. A bunch of different people have a bunch of different opinions. That's fine. They won't all be correct, but that's okay. I think that they're mostly correct, and that's the reason I follow them. But on this one thing, a lot of them are going to be wrong, and that's fine. They're not all going to be right about everything, but whatever it ends up being, the point is, the best is yet to come. So I'll go ahead and wrap up there. But hopefully you guys are feeling as cheerful and optimistic as I am, because I don't see a reason to feel sad or negative or scared. Things are incredible. I am so thankful I came across crypto when I did. Seriously. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.